Classic rock album reviews coming right at you. SHMACKEMAGOB. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm doing one of these classic rock albums where this is really a metal album. And my opinion, you know, my favorite band is Black Sabbath. But when it comes to, you know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. To me, Black Sabbath, original metal band, in my opinion, greatest band to ever walk the face of the earth. I'm talking about Ozzy, Tony, Geezer, and Bill. Greatest band ever. But they invented metal, but Judas Priest perfected it. And this album right here, in my opinion, like I said, Sabbath is my favorite band and they are metal, but I gotta say, this is the greatest metal album ever. Ever. Ever! Man, oh Shevitz, do I love this album, and it never gets old. First time I heard it, very unique way of discovering Judas Priest. My brother was stationed in the army in Germany, and in 1979, my mom, my dad, and me flew to Germany to visit my brother. And then my parents went off to Spain and all these other places and left me with my brother. And he had like a little, you know, apartment. And when he would go off to the army and do his army stuff, he left me behind. And there were, you know, he had a few albums, but there were 3 albums that I would listen to over and over and over again. And very diverse. All 3 of them are very diverse. Frank Zappa, Shake Your Booty, Supertramp, Crime of the Century, and this. And God, to this day, what's it been? I'm recording this in 2021. We're talking 42 years, man. And I still love all those 3 albums, and this one is just so special. The one time I met Rob Halford, I only met him once, and it was by fluke. I mean, I went to go see the band fight, and there he was, signing autographs at the tour bus. And I was like, oh man, you know, I had my fight ticket signed. And I said to him, Rob, my favorite metal album of all time is Unleashed in the East. And he said, thank you, I appreciate it. And I was like, holy shit, man, the metal god just acknowledged me. Unbelievable. Call me fanboy, call me what you want. But this guy right here is a god. They're all gods, including Les Binks, who they're hiding here. I don't even think Les Binks was at the photo shoot, to tell you the truth. But anyway, what a freaking album this is. And it really did, look, before I went to Germany, I was looking for like hard rock bands and metal bands, because Kiss, when I got double platinum, that was my gateway band. I mean, I don't care what anybody says about Kiss. You know, all you people that hate Kiss, seriously, a lot of your record collections or a lot of the bands you like, they wouldn't be around if it wasn't for Kiss. So Kiss like took me on this journey to find heavy bands, and I found Blue Oyster Cult. Remember a band called Ram Jam. You know, anything that was hard rocking, I would buy. But this is whole other level shit, man. And yeah, I just became obsessed with Judas Priest. When I came back home, I had to own everything they had. And this is prior to British Steel. It was hard to find stuff with Priest. I remember I found, where did I find? Sin After Sin, Hellbent, and it wasn't till later I found Stained Class and Rock-A-Rolla. And Sad Wings, my favorite studio Judas Priest album. Now, back in the 90s, it had to be the 90s, my friend Carlos Guti, I don't know if he's watching. I love that guy, man. He lives up in New York now, and he called me one time. This was in the 90s. He was up there visiting something, and he went, I believe it was a store called Slip Disc in Long Island. Am I right, you Long Islanders? Anybody watching from Long Island? You remember Slip Disc? He called me from there, telling me that they had this. Priest in the East, which is Unleashed in the East with bonus tracks. And I was like, oh my God, yes, please buy it for me. So he did. And this has what are the bonus tracks on here? Rock Forever, Delivering the Goods, Hellbent for Leather, and Jawbreaker. I mean, Jawbreaker, listen to me. Starbreaker. And I gotta say, man, and I've said this before on many things, they're great, it's awesome to have, but if I'm gonna listen to Unleashed in the East, I want it to end with Tyrant. That's how I want the album to end. These are good to have. And then I found this right here, which is, it's on vinyl, but it doesn't have it does have Rock for Starbreaker's not on here, and maybe something else, but it does have Beyond the Realms of Death. And this is all, you know, it's kind of misleading because you don't see anything here that says live or anything. It looks like a single of Rock Forever, Hellbent for Leather, or Beyond the Realms of Death. But if you see this, this is Unleashed in the East bonus tracks. And Beyond the Realms of Death is not on the CD. And yes, you know, I mean, through the years, I've had many people say, hey man, I have Unleashed in the East with bonus tracks. Yeah, I know it exists. But to me, man, this is perfect as is. I'm glad it's not a double live album, because this album is the greatest metal album ever in my world. And it does the job in one album. And I will go now through the tracks, which the first Judas Priest song I heard, first album I heard from Priest, Exciter. Holy shit. You want to talk about proto-thrash, proto-speed metal. I mean, this is just a pummeling, amazing, killer thing. And you notice the way Exciter starts with that little build-up. You notice Burning Up from this album, Hellbent for Leather, Killing Machine in Europe. It's the same intro. It builds up, but then it goes into Exciter. Which, man, I'll never forget, man, sitting there listening to this, like my jaw on the floor, going, you know, wow, man, this is amazing. This is what I've been looking for. This is like the ultimate hard rock heavy metal song I ever heard. I ended up saying that with every other song on this album, because this whole album is just metal, molten metal. So, sorry, I'm scratching my nose. I know I do this. I don't know if it's a nervous tick, because every time I put on this camera, I get itchy. See, I'm itchy here now. Well, I just shaved. Maybe that's it. Anyway, so, that's right, Exciter. And then the way Exciter ends, you know, when he's like, stand, fight for Exciter, stand, fight for Exciter. Then he hits that high note, stand, and I'm like, no way. And then when he does the last one, and he holds that high note, he is the metal god. They are the metal gods, with Les Binks. I'm telling you, that's my favorite lineup right there. And my favorite era is 70s Priest. Boy, do I love 80s Priest, though. And I love 90s Priest. And I love what they're doing now. I love Firepower. But this is like, you know, the exclamation mark to the 70s Priest. And they started off with Exciter, just to pummel you to the ground. But you ain't done beating your ass there. Because when that song's done, it goes into Runnin' Wild, which Iron Maiden later covered and called it Wicker Man. Runnin' Wild, what can I say? It's the perfect song to follow Exciter, because it just keeps you bam, bam, bam. And again, you know, what's the use of living unless you're living wild? Rebellious, heavy, exactly what a 13, 14-year-old kid was looking for. And that's where I found it. I found it on this album. Then, then they're going to slow it down with Sinner. Yes, it's not rip-roaring fast, but I would say it's even heavier than the first two songs. You don't have to be fast and vicious to be heavy. Sinner, wow. KK Downing, you are missed. Seriously, I love Glenn Tipton. Technically better, but I'm more of a KK guy. Because I love that Hendrixy whammy bar, sloppy, but yet the man can rip. And this song showcases, well, showcases Rob too with those got up the devil. But man, that middle section when it just slows down, and KK's doing that ripping solo with the whammy bar. Just Sinner is like, oh man, can you take any more? Well, too bad, bitch, because you are, because from Sinner it goes to Ripper. Oh, right there, man. Short song, mid-tempo, not as slow as Sinner, not as fast as Excited and Running Wild, but right there. And that one is just like picking at the jugular. Won't let it go. Won't let it go. And that little middle section, you hear that little build up, and Les Binks, the best Priest drummer according to me, doing those like little fills, and oh, just out of control, that song. It's, along with a song coming up, probably tied for my favorite. And for you Judas Priest fans to know, before I tell you that song, it's the song before it on Sad Wings of Destiny. It's such a 1-2 punch, Sad Wings. That's why it is my favorite studio album. Alright, then I don't even have to look at this. Why do I even look at that? The amazing cover, like up to this point, Judas Priest, every cover they did, Diamonds and Rust, Better by You, Better Than Me, and this one, probably the best cover in my opinion. The Fleetwood Mac song, the Green Manalishi with the two-prong crown. Again, you know, and that lead trade-off in the middle with, you know, Glenn, and you hear the speakers. Am I a fanboy or what? Seriously, if I wasn't so metal, I'd cry, because it's so good. Judas Priest, man, and that song, Green Manalishi, and oh, and he hits that high note at the end, da-da-da-da, pow! Ooh, and that's only side one. Then we flip this album over to another cover of the Joan Baez acoustic-y little folk song, Diamonds and Rust, where they don't do it acoustic-y folky, though they do it with Ripper on that live Meltdown, and man, that's amazing too, I gotta say. When they did make it folky, it was still amazing, but this version is more, you know, upbeat, amazing. Just the way Rob Halford delivers, I'll be damned. Here comes your ghost again, but that's not unusual. Beautiful. Fucking awesome. And let me tell you something, man. Something that I have noticed through the years. Chicks dig Judas Priest. That's right. You know, you ain't got no, I mean, I guess KK would be like kind of pretty boyish, but they're not like, you know, hunky dudes like your Poison. And, you know, they don't look like chicks. You know, but chicks dig Judas Priest, man. I've noticed that. I know a lot of chicks that love the Priest. And they love Diamonds and Rust. See, it's kind of a song that would cater to the chicks, because it's awesome. It appeals to all sexes, is what I'm trying to say. All right, then the next song for you Priest fans, you know what's my favorite Judas Priest song. It's the song before Ripper on Sad Wings of Destiny. I'm talking about Victim of Changes. Oh, it's their, I wouldn't say it's their Stairway to Heaven. I would probably lean toward Beyond the Realms of Death. But it's their best fucking song, in my opinion. Written by Al Atkins. A song called Whiskey Woman, I believe. But, you know, and then they changed it up. But, wow. That, just the opening gives me, just thinking about that opening gives me chills, with Glenn and KK doing that. That ripping, you know. Fist pumping, head banging mania to that one. And Whiskey Woman, don't you know that you are driving me insane? Ow! Ripping, killer, and then, you know, goes into that real mellowness, you know. Well, she was wonderful when she was mine. Man. And then, bam, changes. And then that end scream, man, ow, ow. Hit that note again. Rob Halford, I think I mentioned this before, is a god. Right on. All right, why am I looking at this? I don't need to look at that. Another killer song. Genocide off Sad Wings. Again, these versions too. I love, you know, the thing I love about Sad Wings of Destiny, they're very different than this. This is kind of like, you know, what a lot of people will Kiss Alive is better than the studio versions. And, you know, there's a lot of albums like that the live versions are better. Well, this one personifies it. Because I don't think there's a song on here that's not better than the studio version. And Genocide is the other one. Well, I'll talk about the last song. One thing that I like about the studio version that the last song here on here doesn't have, but I'll talk about that after Genocide. Help me, my people have died. Total genocide. I cannot express the words that I want to express of how amazing this song is. You know? It's so fucking metal. Music, lyrics, vocals. Thank you, Judas Priest, for putting this in the soundtrack of my life. I gotta tell you, man, metal. Look, I like other types of music, but it all takes a backseat to metal. Metal is the greatest form of music ever in my world. And this is the greatest metal album, so you know how much I'm gonna gush over this shit. And I am metal. Hey man, I'm 56 years old. Haven't waned a bit. Still getting into newer bands. Anyway, this. Genocide rips. And then we end with Tyrant, where I will say, like the rest of this album, I like it more than the studio version, but there is something about that studio version that this doesn't have that I absolutely love. I love, in Sad Wings, the version of Tyrant where it goes, Tyrant, master of humanity, Tyrant. I love that. Tyrant. It's so cool. That's why Sad Wings is awesome, man, because it's different than these live versions, but it's still kick-ass, and it gets this side of the jugular, you know? Well, this one gets this one. And also the Adam's apple. Kicks you in the Adam's apple a bit. And yeah, you know, Tyrant. Fuck! You know? And you know, we're going to talk about the bonus tracks. I'm sorry, man. They're great and all. They are. But no. I just want it like this. You know, same thing with Cheap Trick at Budokan. You know? Awesome. They released that complete concert and I got that CD box with the different shows. That's awesome and all. But give me the at Budokan version. That little stripped down, which is even the more commercial songs. Doesn't have the heavy Alvita same stuff. Well, I feel the same way about this. Just give me one album. That's all I need. And plus, I love short albums. You know, I don't know how short this is. Probably clocks in about 40, I guess. But yeah, that's what I love, man. I love short to the point, bam, get it out of here. But, you know, I also love live double albums too. Don't get me wrong, double live albums are awesome as well. But none of them are as awesome as this. Oh no, believe me. I'm telling you how I feel, not how you feel, how I feel. Oh, and also, don't get me wrong, don't get it twisted, let's cut the deck. You know, and I'm pointing at you, not you, but you. You know, you agree with me. Oh yeah, I know there's many metalheads looking at me right now going, bro, hell yeah, man. Unleashed in the East is the best fucking metal album ever. You're not alone, Dr. Fuckalicious. This is the best album ever. So there you go. That was me gushing and swinging off the nuts of Unleashed in the East. Hope you enjoyed it. But I bet there's no way you'd enjoy it as much as cranking this to 11 in the house and just ripping to it all day. I just played it now. That's why I'm all giddy. Fuck drugs. This is better than any drug. Ever. Judas Priest, Unleashed in the East. Bonafide, classic, greatest heavy metal album ever. According to me and many of you. Come on, man. Come on. Write that comment below saying, fuck yeah, bro. Whoever disagrees can kiss my big black ass. That's right, they can kiss my big black ass too. Alright, enough of my insanity. I'm going to go now and, oh, I don't want to talk about what I'm going to do now. Sorry I brought that up. Anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. If you'd like to donate, I got a PayPal in the description below. And please, for the love of Judas Priest, subscribe to my channel and click that little notification bell. It would add years to your life. SHMACKEMAGOB!